എല്ലാവർക്കും എക്കണോമിക്സിൻ്റെ പുതിയ ക്ലാസ്സിലേക്ക് സ്നേഹപൂർവമായ സ്വാഗതം. എക്കണോമിക്സിൻ്റെ കോമ്പറ്റേറ്റീവ് എക്സാമിനേഷൻസിന് പ്രിപ്പയർ ചെയ്യുന്നവർക്ക് കൂടാതെ LSS, USS എക്സാമിനേഷൻസിന് പ്രിപ്പയർ ചെയ്യുന്നവർക്കും ഐസക് എന്ന ചാനലിലൂടെ ക്ലാസ്സുകൾ നൽകുന്നുണ്ട്. തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും നിങ്ങൾ ചാനൽ കാണുകയും സബ്സ്ക്രൈബ് ചെയ്യുകയും ചെയ്യുക. HSST ഇക്കണോമിക്സിൻ്റെ എക്സാമിനേഷൻസിന് ഇനി വളരെ കുറച്ച് ദിവസങ്ങൾ മാത്രമേ ഉള്ളൂ. തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും നിങ്ങൾ സീരിയസോട് കൂടി കാണേണ്ട സമയമാണിത്. ഈ ചാനലിലൂടെ നൽകുന്ന ക്ലാസ്സുകൾ തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും നിങ്ങൾക്കൊരു വഴികാട്ടിയായിരിക്കും. ഈ ക്ലാസ്സിനെ ബേസ് ചെയ്തിട്ട്, ഈ ക്ലാസ്സിലൂടെ നൽകുന്ന ടോപ്പിക്കിനെ ബേസ് ചെയ്തിട്ട്, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒബ്ജക്റ്റീവ് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസിനെ ബേസ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് നിങ്ങൾ പഠിക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും എക്സാമിനേഷൻസിന് വിജയിക്കാൻ കഴിയുമെന്ന് ഞാൻ ഉറപ്പ് നൽകുന്നു. നമുക്ക് ഇന്നത്തെ ക്ലാസ്സിൽ ചില ഒബ്ജക്റ്റീവ് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് പരിചയപ്പെടാം. എല്ലാവർക്കും ഈശ്വര പ്രാർത്ഥനയോടെ ഒരിക്കൽ കൂടി ഐസക് എന്ന ചാനലിലേക്ക് സ്നേഹപൂർവ്വമായി സ്വാഗതം. ഫസ്റ്റ് വൺ, average fixed cost can be obtained through TFC divided by TC. Average fixed cost is equal to TFC divided by TC. King demand curve, Paul WCC. King demand curve, Paul WCC. Efficient resource allocation is possible under perfect competition. Efficient resource allocation possible under perfect competition. Next one, revision of demand theory, J.R. Hicks. Revision of demand theory, J.R. Hicks. Which utility theory calculate utility in terms of cardinal numbers? NM utility index or Neumann-Morgenstern utility index. Which utility theory calculate utility in terms of cardinal numbers? That is NM utility index. Next one, indifference curve in the case of perfect substitute is straight line but negative slope. Straight line but negative slope. In the case of given good, positive income effect is dash than negative substitution effect. In the case of given good, positive income effect is dash than the negative substitution effect. It's larger than. Wage is determined by marginal productivity of labor. Who gave this statement? Wage is determined by marginal productivity of labor. Who gave this statement? It is J.M. Clark. Social welfare function belongs to Bergson and Samuelson. Social welfare function related to Bergson and Samuelson. The next one, bilateral monopoly is situations. Bilateral monopoly is situations is both, there is both one seller and one buyer. One seller and one buyer. The ratio of change in investment due to change in income is known as multiplier. The ratio of change in investment due to change in income is known as accelerator. The rate of change in investment due to multiplier. Okay, sorry. Then taxation come under fiscal policy. For the rate of change in investment due to change in income, it is multiplier. The rate of change in investment due to change in consumption is known as accelerator. Under classical range, the shape of the LM curve is. Under classical range, the shape of LM curve is vertical. Under classical range, the shape of LM curve is vertical. According to Kane, the demand for money is interest inelastic. According to Kane, demand for money is interest inelastic. Relative income hypothesis put forward by Duesenberry. Relative income hypothesis was put forward by Duesenberry. Then if MPC is equal to 0.8, what is the value of multiplier? If MPC, marginal propensity to consume, is 0.8, then value of multiplier. And then value of multiplier കണ്ടുപിടിക്കാൻ formula 1 divided by 1 minus MPC. That is 0.5. 1 divided by 1 minus MPC. അപ്പോൾ 0.8 ആയിരിക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ value of multiplier it is that 0.5. Next one, the optimum inventory theory belongs to Baumol. The optimum inventory theory related to William J. Baumol. Next one, supply creates its own demand is known as Say's law of market. Supply creates its own demand is known as Say's law of market. Next one, Keynes' absolute income hypothesis was developed by Tobin and Smithies. Keynes' absolute income hypothesis was കൂടുതൽ സ്റ്റഡി നടത്തിയതാരാണ്? ടോബിൻ ആൻഡ് സ്മിത്തീസ്. M3 measure of money supply includes currency plus demand deposit plus time deposit. It is also known as aggregate monetary measures. Inflation due to scarcity of raw materials is known as supply shock inflation. Inflation due to the scarcity of raw materials is known as supply shock inflation. Next one, which of the following is not correct? MBC lies between 0 and 1. is not correct എന്നാണ് പറയുന്നത്. MBC lies between 0 and 1. Option B, MBC plus MBS is equal to 0. APC plus APS is equal to 1. MBC plus MBS is equal to 1. ഏതാണ് കറക്റ്റ് സ്റ്റേറ്റ്മെൻ്റ് അല്ലാത്തതെന്ന്? MBC between 0 and 1 ആണോ? MBC plus MBS is equal to 0 ആണോ? APC plus APC is equal to 1 ആണോ? MBC plus MBS is equal to 1 ആണോ? ഏതാണ് കറക്റ്റ് അല്ലാത്തത്? ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് MBC plus MBS is 0. അത് MBC plus MBS എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഈക്വൽ ടു 1 ആണ്, ആ 0 അല്ല. അപ്പോൾ റോങ് സ്റ്റേറ്റ്മെൻറ്റ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് MBC plus MBS is equal to 0 എന്നതാണ്. നെക്സ്റ്റ് വൺ, the classical quantity theory of money belongs to Fisher. But money drives good money in circulation. This statement is related to Gresham's law. But money drives out good money in circulation. This related to Gresham's law. Next one, the impact of public investment adversely affect private investment. This effect is known as crowding out effect. The impact of public investment adversely affect the private investment. This effect is known as crowding out effect. Next one, the existence of low wage rate and high unemployment is known as Phillips curve. The existence of low wage rate and high unemployment is known as Phillips curve. Export and Import Bank or Exim Bank was established in 1982. Exim Bank, Export and Import Bank of India, established in 1982. Next one, the central bank borrows from the commercial bank at a particular rate. This is known as reverse repo rate. According to classicals, there exists dash and dash relationship between money supply and price, direct and proportional. According to classicals, there exists dash and dash relationship between money supply and price, direct and proportional. Reciprocal demand theory belongs to J.S. Mill. Reciprocal demand theory belongs to J.S. Mill. The factor price equalization theorem was developed by Samuelson. The factor price equalization theory was developed by Samuelson. Neo-Chamberlainian model was based on vertical differentiation. Neo-Chamberlainian model was based on vertical differentiation. Next one, a country imposes limits to physical quantity of item for an import. This is known as import duty. A country imposes limits to the physical quantity of the item for an import. This is known as import duty. Next one, which form of economic integration involves free trade, common commercial policy among the member countries? Customs union. Which form of the economic integration involves free trade and common commercial policy among the member countries? This is known as, what is customs union? Next one, which tax is known as minimum alternate tax? Export tax. Which tax is known as minimum alternate tax? Corporate tax ato. Export tax alla. Which tax is known as minimum alternate tax? It is known as corporate tax. Minimum alternate tax, corporate tax. Dash is a kind of matrix, involves interchange of rows and columns. Transpose of a matrix. Dash is kind of a matrix, involves interchange of rows and columns. That is transpose of a matrix. Standard deviation of sampling distribution is known as standard error. Standard deviation of sampling distribution is known as standard error. Which type of